Hey everyone, welcome in to another daily editorial here on the KE Report. I'm getting an update from Aztec Minerals, traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol AZT and on the OTCQB under the symbol AZZTF. I am chatting with the president and CEO, Simon Dyakowski. Simon and I are following up on a couple of recent news releases, all focused at the Cervantes Porphyry Copper Gold Project in Mexico. The company started its RC drill program at the tail end of October, and just last week, November 21st, announced that the company has completed the initial 7 holes at this project, all focused at the primary California Gold Zone target. Simon, take us through the goal of expanding the mineralized zone at California, please.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me on the show today, Corey. We've recently announced the completion of the first 7 holes of our planned 11-hole, 1,650-meter RC program. As you mentioned, this got underway in October. We've been drilling now for several weeks. I thought it an appropriate time to give the market just a quick update as to how that drilling is going. We are pleased to announce that visually the chips have returned good alteration and mineralization indications, suggesting that the recent expansion drilling is potentially successfully expanding this primary shallow oxide gold dominant California zone target that we've been focusing on over the past several years of drilling. So the 7 holes are done now. We are drilling off the final 5 over the second half of November here into December. Coming in to date fairly well under budget, which is a great sign for us. We've been trying to be very careful stewards of the company's, the investors' capital here, and that's why we've designed the program with sort of an optimization model in mind to get the most bang for our buck, so to speak, from the drill bit. To date, where we have not run into any major issues drilling, we've got nice coverage now, particularly expanding the zone to the west. That's an exciting area for us. And we're waiting now patiently for our initial results from this drill program, which we expect to come in over the next few weeks.
So I'll post figure 1 from the news release below, and that's a general map here of this California target. It also shows where California Norte and the Jasper targets are, and we can see where these drill results are located. They are all step out, as you said, to the west, but also to the north and to the south. What's the distance of, let's say, on average, these step out holes?
On average, 50 meters. Some of them to the west will step out laterally about 100 meters when you count for the dip. So they're growing the zone quite meaningfully. And they're really in keeping with our grid pattern. So the entire ridgeline has a fairly well-established grid now of approximately 50 meter space between each hole. So that's designed with modeling in mind. And so this step out drilling is consistent with that. And then, of course, not being drilled in this program, but a very, very prospective area for us to grow is at the California Norte target. And that's about 500, 600 meters north of the California Ridge that we've been focusing on during this program.
Now, is that California Norte target going to be drilled at all in this program?
Not in this program. We decided to focus on, particularly just expanding the California zone, being mindful of budget constraints and market conditions. We feel that our best value add to our shareholders at this point is to grow the California zone, and then next year look to connect it up with the California Norte target, which we love. We think it's great. We had some great drill results there last year, but we really want to give it a fair shot, and perhaps more than just 2 extra holes there. We'd like to expand the grid all over that next northern ridgeline, which is California North. So the thinking was to bifurcate those two at this point, and then in a follow-up campaign, really go hard at California Norte and do it justice.
So as of now, through past drilling, what is the total strike length of this California zone, the mineralized portion that you have found? And you did mention that it's shallow, so how deep does it go as well?
So the strike length previously was about 800 meters, and now it's looking closer to 900 meters. and we've demonstrated mineralization down to about 150 meters vertically, with most of the oxides in the top 100 meters. And in terms of width, we have now broadened the zone to approximately 300, 350 meters in width, depending on which part of the ridgeline you're looking at. And then towards the west, it's actually growing close to about 400 meters in width on the western part of the zone.
Now, since this project is in Mexico and you do have a number of holes in here, there any other projects in the area or around the world that you're using as almost a comparison to what you've hit so far at this initially California target?
Geologically, we see some similarities to the Santana project owned by Minera Alamos to our south. So that at this point seems to be our closest comp. We think in the broader scheme of things, we're at the very highest levels of a larger porphyry type system, and that's evidenced by the surface geology, the geology in the drill holes, and as well as a very unique feature that the geologists get pretty excited about, known as a unidirectional solidification texture, which is only ever really seen at the very highest levels of the porphyry system. So, bigger picture, we think that there is significant copper gold potential in sulfides at depth. But in terms of the grid drilled to date, we think that the Santana project, to answer your question directly, is a pretty good comp at this point.
Now, do you have any plans to test this bigger porphyry target at any time?
Yeah, plans for that are in 2024. We do need to get the data back from this drill program, incorporate it into our models, and get back into the field early next year to continue to vector in on where our best targets for the sulfide system might be. So, we have a very extensive data set that needs to be better understood with the results of the ongoing program in order to have what we'd consider to be worthwhile targets to go and risk capital for the deeper drilling.
Now, for future drill results just in this program, the remaining 4 holes, let's say, are any of them to the northeast side here in between the California zone and California Norte?
Yes, there are a couple of step outs to the northeast. They're not on the plan map that we have yet. They're being recently drilled, and you'll also see some targets to the southwest. And the west, we think, is a really interesting surprise for us. We see a lot of good potential to grow to both the northwest and the southwest here, heading down that hillside into the valley bottom.
Okay. Well, Simon, I guess just a quick comment then in terms of this drill program and moving forward, where does the company stand money-wise to fund all this activity?
Yeah, so we recently raised at a premium to where we're trading at now. We closed a financing at 22.5 cents, and we have about $1 million in the till at this moment. And the program, which is fully funded and already partially paid for, should have a total budget here of approximately 500,000 Canadian. So fully funded for this round of drilling and for some initial work next year. And we're in good shape into the beginning of 2023, especially as we're heading into the all important part of our news flow cycle here, which is of course drill results, which we expect over the next several weeks to start coming in from the laboratory.
All right, well, I'll follow up with you as some of those drill results come in. And if anybody has any follow-up questions, please email me, fleck@kereport.com. I can get Simon to address those for you personally and also get those answered in future calls. So, Simon, thank you very much for this update, and please keep me up to date on when some of these drill results are released.
My pleasure, Corey, and thank you.